Do you like wearing people's skins? I sure do. That's why I want to know what the best skin is for every Overwatch hero, according to you guys. I sent out a Google Forms a while ago, I let it build up results, and here are the best skins voted by you guys. But there's one little thing I should mention. I sent this out before Season 6, so stuff like the Ana Mythic was not on there yet, and plus Illari wasn't even out yet, so I don't have as many results for those, but I will try and bring up when I think the vote would have been affected by Season 6. For example, Sojourn, I actually think her best skin is in Season 6, according to you guys, just because of how many of those votes there were after Season 6 dropped, that it almost beat the top result, even though it wasn't even out for that long. Like and subscribe, and let's get started. Also, shout out to the people who said stuff like, love your videos, and the one guy who really loves Torbjorn, but regardless, let's get started with Ana. For Ana, your guys' favorite skin was Sniper. I did see a lot of people put Young Ana, but there are multiple Young Anas, so I'm not surprised that one of the Young Anas did end up winning. However, I should mention that besides Captain Amari, the second most voted skin was A7000 War God, and it actually almost took over the top spot. Which I should mention that the Mythics kind of get a lot of votes in this, so don't be surprised when a Mythic does win the vote. However, technically the Mythic did not win for Ana since I did send out the vote before Season 6, sorry about that. In a way, I think Ana's Mythic might have beat Sniper if this vote was done during Season 6. However, Sniper did have a big lead on it, so Sniper was voted your guys' favorite, but A7000 War God was second place. Next up is Ashe, and she actually had a close first place. However, Poolside, her Summer Game skin, ended up winning, with second place going to Warlock. I mean, just looking at Poolside, I think we can know why it won. However, Warlock is also a pretty cool skin, so I understand how it got second. Also, I may as well add my favorite skin for each hero. I don't have a favorite skin for every hero, but I'll just say one. Going back to Ana real quick, my favorite skin for her is Night Owl. And for Ashe, I kind of like Deadlock a lot, but I think once I get Snake Wrangler, I think I'm going to use that the most just because I like the green eyes. Moving on to Baptiste, and his tropical skin was the favorite. Since these are my viewers, I'm a little scared that the votes are a little skewed, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned in the drip tier list that he has a Rolex on this skin, so that might be a reason why. I am not sure, but nonetheless, what I thought was gonna win was Funky, which was this skin right here, but for some reason, if you don't have the skin, it doesn't show up, so I'm not sure if that's the reason why it didn't win. So availability of a skin, I think, is going to be the community favorite skin. And since the Summer Games just happened, that might be why a bunch of skins from the Summer Games are a little higher. So we might have to repeat the vote later down the line to see if the community opinion changes. Regardless, my favorite skin is Wasteland, and the only reason is because the close-up is just funny with the mask on. Next up is Bastion, and I already knew what was gonna win. Lego Bastion. I don't even know if you can still get it now, but it did stomp the poll. The Coffin skin actually was the second place skin, but like I said, Lego Bastion just dominated the poll, so we don't really need to talk about it. Just Lego Bastion, it's my favorite Bastion skin also, so not much to say. Next up is Brigitte, and there was an easy stomp on this one also. Vampire Hunter. I think Vampire Hunter looks pretty sick also. It's probably my favorite skin if I actually had it. With that being said, Riot Police was second place, which used to be my favorite skin, and is probably the one I use the most. However, I think Vampire Hunter looks better. It's my favorite, even though I don't have it. Oh, and it's also your guys' favorite too. Should probably mention that since that's the video. Next up is Cassidy, and the votes were actually very close on this one. It was between Lifeguard and Invisible Man, and Invisible Man just barely won out. With that being said, Lifeguard was very close to winning though. My personal favorite McCree skin, oh god, I said McCree, is actually Deadlock just because I like the gun, but Invisible Man and Lifeguard are also close seconds, so I think it makes perfect sense how Invisible Man won and Lifeguard got second place. Next up is Diva, and she had a bunch of surprising results. There was actually a pretty big spread, and it was kind of difficult pinpointing which one was gonna win, but it actually ended up being EDM, which I'm a little surprised about, but it makes sense because it was in the Battle Pass in Season 1. With the second place again being kind of surprising, being Officer. Now my personal favorite is Wave Racer, which I think we can tell why. It's also the Summer Game skin, so I'm really surprised it didn't win, but EDM won out, I guess. Next up is Doomfist, and the vote was pretty dominant. It was Formal. Formal won by a lot. I'm not even surprised that it won. It's just a good skin. I'm actually surprised Saitama did not get more votes, but I think since you had to buy it and it wasn't a Battle Pass skin, that's probably why. However, the second place skin was Thunder, which I don't even see on the skin list. However, Thunder was the Doomfist Championship Legendary skin from a while back. I know what the skin is, but for some reason it's just not showing up. But that skin was second place. Next up is Echo with a very odd result. The skin that ended up winning was Good and Evil from the Overwatch League. However, Echo had probably the most second places that were really close to winning. Like, given a few more votes, a lot of other skins would have gotten first place. However, Good and Evil just barely won out. However, the skin that did get second place was Slime Queen. I'm a little surprised, but it's a unique skin. It's a quirky little skin. I'm surprised an Epic almost got first place. However, it's recent, it was in the Battle Pass, so I think people like it. Next up is Genji, and for having a Mythic skin, he had a bunch of legendaries that almost took over it. However, the Mythic Genji skin, Cyber Demon, ended up winning. With that being said though, Blackwatch Genji got second place. And I kind of just realized I was forgetting to say my favorite skin, so I gotta go back and do that. For me, I think my favorite for Genji is probably the Cyber Demon also. For Echo, my favorite skin is Moth because Butterfly is overused and I don't really have the other ones. And then I also think Formal is Doomfist's best skin also. Moving on to Hanzo, Scion won. Again, I might have a little bit of influence on this one since this is kind of the skin I use. It's the skin that I put in the drip tier list. But yeah, Scion is a very good skin. It's my favorite skin for Hanzo also. With that being said though, the Cupid Hanzo was second place. I don't think there's any surprise why it got second place because it's the Cupid Hanzo, his nipples showing, we all love it. However, a skin that almost got second place was Cyber Dragon, which I thought this skin was gonna win, if I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had the skin, it would probably be my most used, because it just looks sick, even though the colors are a little weird. But that is also why it looks good. So if I had it, I think Cyber Dragon would be my favorite, but since I don't, Scion, it's just good, and he looks sexy. Now for Illari, you do have to take it with a grain of salt, because she doesn't have very many skins, and like I said, this vote was done before Season 6. With that being said, in a video I said to put in the first slot where you can put whatever you want, put what you think Illari skin should be, and after doing that, Llama Pajama ended up winning. However, Daybreak was a second place, and it was kind of close actually. However, I agree, I think Llama Pajama is the best Illari skin, and Daybreak being second, I agree also. Next up is Junker Queen with the most decisive win. Not even Lego Bastion won this hard. Zeus Mythic Junker Queen won by a freaking mile. It literally nearly got half the votes, and I told people that you could put NA if you do not have a favorite skin for that character or you don't play them, and the fact that she still almost got half the votes on the skin is insane. And I agree, it's the best Junker Queen skin, hands down. I do remember Black Metal getting some votes though, so I think that got second place. However, Zeus, the Junker Queen Season 2 Mythic, easily won. Next up is the Funky Junkrat. That didn't rhyme, god dang it. And his was actually pretty close, it was pretty spread out, just like Echo. However, King Jameson barely made it out on top. And I see why, it has a lot of drip. Again, the drip tier list might have affected this one. However, the very second place was Beach Rat. It was actually very close between these two skins. However, I'd still say my favorite's probably Scarecrow, which the whole reason that's my favorite skin was because with this highlight intro, his eyes would glitch out. And unfortunately, they fixed it, which makes the skin so much worse, but I still like it anyways. I've used it for too long. I'm attached to it. For Kiriko, I do not think there's going to be a surprise when I say her Mythic skin ended up winning, which I don't even know how to say that. It's like Amaterasu or something. I'm very sorry that I butchered that. So her Season 3 Mythic got first place, obviously. However, here's something actually very interesting. The second place actually tied between Witch and Rogue, which I was not expecting there to be a tie. So congratulations to both Witch and Rogue for getting second place for Kiriko. Now my favorite skin for Kiriko is probably Rogue, and the only reason I say that is because I kind of get annoyed by Kiriko's voice lines for Mythic skin. So even though I like the Mythic skin look-wise, I use Rogue so much more just because it's less annoying. Next up is Lifeweaver, and the most voted skin was Cleric, which I am a little surprised about. I do think it looks pretty good, I'm just surprised that since it's a shop skin, it got this many votes. However, it does look pretty sick, and clerics are quite popular in D&D, I think at least. So I'm not too surprised it won. With that being said, Regent was actually the second place, which I am shocked about, because my personal favorite is the Phi Tai Con, if I said that right. I got it for free, so I like it, and I think it looked good. Next up is Lucio, and Jazzy won by quite a bit. Not as much as Drunker Queen and Bastion, but Jazzy was pretty popular. With the custom music and the snazzy style, I'm not surprised it won. With that being said, Space Prince was actually the second place by just a little bit. For May, shocker, Pajame won. I mean, who's surprised that May in her pajamas and the only skin where you can see your feet ended up winning? I mean, I'm not surprised. However, Alchemist almost won, which is a recent skin and it's in the Battle Pass, so I'm not surprised that Alchemist almost took it over. Actually, I take back the foot thing. Apparently, Flower Child, you can see your foot in. I don't know why I'm looking at feet, I'm just fact-checking myself. Next up is Mercy, and her top skin was pink, so the Cancer Awareness skin won, which is pretty cool, I like that. However, even though you can't get it anymore, it actually still ended up winning. And on top of that, the Witch skin from the first Halloween event, I'm pretty sure, was second place, which I'm a little surprised about. And again, I kind of forgot to say my favorite skins for a few of them, so let's go back for just a second. For Lucio, I don't really have a favorite, but Jazzy's pretty cool. For May, Jiang Shai is my favorite. For Mercy, Winged Victory is my favorite. And moving on to Moira, your guys' favorite Moira skin was Banshee, which I'm a little surprised about. However, this trend of creepy Moira skins actually continues because my phone went off and it's telling me to do my laundry. But the second place skin was Wicked, which they're both kind of scary skins. So I think it makes sense that they were first and second. I think Wicked is also my favorite Moira skin. However, since I don't have it, I mostly use Blackwatch. After switching my laundry, we are now going to the Urussi, and Forest Spirit just barely won. Second place was Demon, which was very, very close to winning. My personal favorite skin for Orisa is also Forest Spirit, so glad it won. For Pharah, the favorite skin was Enchanted Armor, which is my favorite skin because it blows up into a million pieces, and it's just funny. On top of that, if you use the highlight intro mission complete, she'll take off her helmet, show nothing, and it just kind of zooms into nothing. Which is kind of the same reason that I like the Baptiste skin Wasteland. Even more reason for me to like it. However, the second place skin was Aviator, which I think it looks pretty cool also, so I understand how it got second place. Next up is Ramatra, and he had a pretty clear winner also, and that's Poseidon. Poseidon came with the battle pass that he came in, so since everyone got the battle pass, everyone got the skin, Poseidon was the best one, so it just kind of automatically wins, because everyone has it and everyone likes it. And just to prove how many people have the Battle Pass, Primordial, an epic skin that came with the Battle Pass, ended up winning second place. Now my favorite skin is also Poseidon, because I also bought the Battle Pass, I also have the Legendary skin, and I also don't have the other two Legendary skins that you have to buy, which is Biohazard and Necromancer, and even though I think Necromancer looks sick, I'm not going to spend money on it. So Poseidon's my favorite. However, I gotta say that Necromancer and Biohazard, if I had them, I'd use them over Poseidon. Next up is Reaper with a very, very spread out list. There's quite a few skins that almost got first place. However, a little surprisingly, Rat King actually won. Rat King looks pretty cool, so I'm not surprised. However, Pumpkin and Old Halloween skin was the one that got second place. For Reaper, I'm not really sure what my favorite skin is, just because he has so many good ones. However, I'm going to be real with you, if I had Nebula, I think I would use it the most just because this skin looks so sick. I'm not going to buy it, but I think Nebula is honestly my favorite. Next up is Reinhardt, and I'm so disappointed that my skin didn't win, because it is the best skin, but not voted by you guys. A freaking box won. Cardboard Reinhardt is the winner. Cardboard Reinhardt is great, honestly. I just don't have it because you have to freaking buy it. Which again, availability does help with a skin's likability, but in this case, even though you have to buy it, it ended up winning anyways. So Cardboard Reinhardt ended up winning. However, a close second was Conductor, my favorite skin. And the reason I like it so much is because he makes a train noise. A few of you guys had a little fun with that by putting train noise in like whoosh whoosh or something. And I agree, I think Conductor is great. It's so funny to use Reinhardt when he's a freaking train. But Cardboard Reinhardt, not the worst skin to lose to because it's so good. Roadhog actually had a pretty even spread on what skins were about to get first place. However, the Pachimari skin did end up winning, and I'm not surprised since it was given out for free, and he has the Pachimari drip, so even though it's an epic skin, I'm not surprised it won. With that being said, choosing a second place was quite difficult, but after I counted every vote, Butcher ended up getting second place. I'm going to actually go off the road a little bit and say that Noxious is my favorite skin. I don't know, I think the purple just looks good, and I just like it. Next up is Sigma, and can you guess what it's going to be? It's going to be his mythic. Galactic Emperor won by a long shot. Galactic Emperor is also my favorite skin, so not surprised. And Maestro, which is actually a weird skin that I didn't expect to get second place, but it got second place. So Sojourn has a weird result. The skin that ended up getting first place was Barista, which I'm not surprised because a lot of people were wearing it in Season 5. However, when Season 6 came out, everyone, and I mean literally everyone, was wearing Vigilante. And it actually shows in the poll, because after Season 6 came out, a lot of the votes for Sojourn actually said Vigilante instead of Barista now. So I'm actually not sure who to give this to, because even though Vigilante got less votes, it's kind of pretty clear that it's the favorite skin now. So I think Vigilante is actually more common than Barista. As an example, I have Vigilante, but I actually don't have Barista. So I'm really not sure whether to put Vigilante or Barista in first. And I'm leaning to putting Vigilante first because I've been looking at my friends' skins, and Vigilante has been there every time, except for Chris, of course. Freaking Chris. So I'm going to say that Vigilante is actually more popular because I can back that up with evidence. Although Barista was definitely the one who got the most votes, but most of those votes were coming from before Season 6, so you can make up your own mind. But basically, Vigilante and Barista, very popular skins for Sojourn. Next up is Soldier 76, and your guys' favorite skin for Soldier was the Grillmaster 76. This is also my favorite Soldier skin. I mean, it literally turns the healing into a Diet Coke or something, so I'm not surprised it won. However, the second place skin was Soldier 1776, which is also a really good skin. It looks really good, and that's about it. Grillmaster won. It's my favorite skin. Soldier 1776 got second place. It's my second place also, so that makes sense to me. Next up is Sombra, and this one surprised me a little bit, and it was Tulum. Tulum is the Summer Games Sombra skin, so back to the Summer Games just happening, so maybe that's why a lot of people like the skin. With that being said, second place was Demon Hunter, which I think is the better skin, but since I don't think you can get it anymore, I'm not really too surprised that Tulum was more popular. Which, if you're curious, I don't really have a favorite Sombra skin, and now that I'm looking at it, I really cannot decide which one's my favorite. I'll go with Demon Hunter since I did wear it during some of the videos. However, my favorite Sombra skin literally changes weekly. Next up is Symmetra, and Magician won. I'm really not too surprised this one won just because legs. However, funny enough, her regular dragon Halloween skin ended up winning second place, which I'm a little surprised since Hydra is a recolor of it. I thought that Hydra would take more of the votes, but apparently people like dragon better, so it got second place. My favorite Symmetra skin is Figure Skater. Next, I need to do the worst skins voted by you guys because Holly, oh my god, the skin looks bad for Symmetra. It looks like someone just slammed paint on her face. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, how about this? In the pinned comment is going to be a Google Forms to what you think are the worst skin for every hero. I think Holly's the worst skin for Symmetra. I think Yellow Tracer skin is the worst one for her. We haven't even gotten Tracer yet. However, you should go fill out that Google form to see which one is your least favorite skin for each Overwatch hero. We'll see who we make mad today. Next up is Torbjorn, and of course the one where he's shirtless won. I mean, who's surprised? I knew this one would win. Surf and Splash Torbjorn won by a mile and had the most misspellings, by the way, because there's like 2 apostrophes next to the end for some reason. I don't know why. However, the one that got second place was surprisingly the Santa Claus skin, which I didn't expect that. However, my favorite skin for Torbjorn is Sybjorn, and the simple reason for that is because if you look at Torbjorn's turret, there's this little thing that sticks out from the top of it in the back of the turret. And then when you go over to the Rydom highlight intro, he is clearly sitting on it. It's quite interesting to say the least. Next up is Tracer, and what do you think won? Her mythic skin. Adventurer won by a long shot. Who's surprised? And the one that got second place was Graffiti. Graffiti's been a popular skin for a long time, so I'm not surprised. I think my favorite skin for Tracer is actually Will-O-Wisp, just because it's less popular than Adventurer. I do like Adventurer a lot, but I use Will-O-Wisp more just because it's less popular. However, her mythic was really good. And this is that yellow skin I was talking about. I think this is the worst skin in the entire game because it looks so bad. And finally for the DPS is Widowmaker. For Widowmaker, your guys' favorite skin was Pale Serpent, which I didn't really expect it to win, but I'm not surprised it won. The second place skin for Widowmaker was Medusa, which, again, not surprised because it looks so cool. And honestly, I don't have a favorite Widowmaker skin. However, Dryad is probably my favorite if I actually had it. Moving on to the Funny Monkey. Yeti ended up being the most voted skin. However, it was a very close race between Yeti and Gargoyle. Gargoyle got second place, but Yeti won by just a little bit, and I kind of agree. I like Yeti a lot too. There really isn't that much to say. Yeti, Werewolf, and Gargoyle almost all won, but Yeti won, Gargoyle got second, and Werewolf got third. Next up is the Funny Hamster, and for Wrecking Ball, the Submarine skin won. I think that little mustache really sold it for some people. For second place was Snowman, which he now has facial hair like a beard. So I guess we like hamsters with hair on them. I really don't have a favorite Hammond skin, so I choose 8-Ball just because it makes funny noises. Moving on to Zarya, and the skin that won, I didn't even know like existed till now, and that's the Apocalypse skin, which is in the Battle Pass, which I'm actually really surprised it won just because it's Season 6 and all that. But hey, it actually managed to get up there, so I'm not surprised. It looks really, really good, especially because I've been playing Fallout recently. With that being said, Alien was a close second. I just can't get over when like the Alien skin was getting canceled for some reason. I can't remember why. You can comment down below why. So I'm actually really surprised it ended up getting second place. I think that Zarya just has a lot of controversial skins. Like, no one really loves any of the skins. And then you got Apocalypse and Alien, and they look so good. With that being said, my favorite Zarya skin is Brayden. And finally, we got Zenyatta, the funny Iris man. And your guys' favorite skin for him was Cultist, which I'm not surprised, it looks really good. With that being said, the second place skin was Zen Nakshi, the J. Jonak skin. I don't really know how to say that. Again, I'm not surprised that Cultist got first and the Jonak skin got second. With that being said, my personal favorite Zenyatta skin is the one where he takes off his pants.
I'm going to take my pants off now.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you did. Comment down your favorite skin if for some reason it wasn't here. Fill out the Google form to tell me what your least favorite skin is, or a skin that you just personally hate. And I'll see you all later.
Harmony, bitch!